Have you ever felt like you're living in a skin that's, I don't know, just a bit too small for you?
That's such a great way to put it. It's what the coaches Fadler Celestin and Elaine Dado call the dictatorship of appearance.
Right. This constant, exhausting pressure to fit into a mold that isn't really you.
And their core premise is fascinating. They argue that humans are the only species that can actually fail at being themselves. You know, a cat is never trying to be a dog.
But we spend decades pretending.
Yeah.
And it comes from their own lives, isn't it? Their stories are incredible.
Absolutely. I mean, Fadler arrived in France as a refugee with, what, 150 euros? But he just refused to adopt a victim identity. He chose what he called a billionaire mindset.
And Elaine used his own failures, his academic failures, as a pivot.
Exactly. A strategic move to find a career that actually fit who he was. Their point is, if you're not living as yourself, you're basically, well, you're living a lie.
I found their crystal ball analogy for awareness so powerful. The idea that your consciousness is like a glowing light, and it moves between these different rooms in your mind. A joy room, an anger room.
An insecurity room.
Exactly. And the big realization for me was, I'm not the room. I'm the one holding the light. I have the power to walk out of the self-doubt room whenever I want.
But walking out is hard, right? Because we're all looking at the world through these thick filters we've built up since we were kids.
We generalize, distort, and omit.
Yeah, take distortion. Your friend doesn't text back immediately, and your first thought is, they're mad at me.
Even with zero evidence.
Right. You're distorting reality just to fit an old story you tell yourself about rejection.
And when other people reinforce those stories, you get the Pygmalion effect.
That's it. A teacher tells you you're not a math person, so you start acting like it, and, well, eventually it becomes true. That false prophecy becomes your reality.
So how do you step back and see these filters objectively? Because they're mostly subconscious.
That's where a tool like the Wheel of Life comes in. It's basically a visual map of your satisfaction in different areas. Health, career, relationships.
So you plot your scores, and you can literally see the gaps.
Precisely. You might see your career as a 10, but your family life is a 2. And that creates this huge, jagged void.
And we try to fill those voids with what they call artificial energies.
Compulsive shopping, needing validation on social media, that next new car. We use these external hits to mask what's really missing, which is internal solidity.
Which brings us to that crucial difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. They're not the same thing at all.
Not at all, and it's such an important distinction. You can have massive self-confidence, you know you're great at your job, have rock-bottom self-esteem.
The high achiever with low self-worth trap.
Exactly that. Self-esteem is your internal value, who you are. Self-confidence is about what you can do.
And confidence, they say, is really just a numbers game. It's about repetition. I love the Gateau Basque example.
It's perfect, isn't it? The first time you bake that pastry, you're a nervous wreck.
Yeah, you're sure it's going to be a disaster.
But by the 50th time, you could do it in your sleep. Confidence isn't a gift you're born with. It's just the result of doing the thing until it's second nature.
Okay, so you build that internal solidity. You have esteem and confidence. How do you actually, interact with the world then?
The goal becomes self-assertion, or what they call affirmative behavior. You're honest about your needs, but you also respect the needs of others.
But most of us fall into one of 3 traps instead.
Right. First, there's the submissive trap. You're so afraid of rejection, you just can't say no.
Then the opposite, the aggressive trap.
Yeah, the manager who steamrolls everyone in a meeting because, deep down, they feel completely out of control. And finally, the manipulative one, using guilt trips or indirect games because you're too scared to just ask for what you want.
Being affirmative is the only path that keeps you aligned with yourself. So, to wrap up, they suggest a kind of final audit for the listener.
A few essential questions you should ask yourself. Where am I right now? Am I objecting to this? Am I reluctant to change? Or am I already on the road?
It's a vital check-in.
It is, because your second life really does begin the day you realize you only have one. If you don't choose to live your own life now, you are, in effect, choosing permanent dissatisfaction.
So as you go about your week, maybe think about this. What is the one artificial energy you lean on? That compulsive purchase, that need for status? What are you using to mask a void that only true internal solidity can actually fill?